Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name's Jay Wilson. I'm a content creator at Data Crew. I am obviously not a room cleaner. No comments about the state of my room. You probably didn't notice until I said anything, or maybe you did. I don't know. Whatever. Um, I'm writing this tutorial about how to take advantage of one of the newer features that came out during Domopalooza, which was like adding these grid lines to your ETL. You can see here, if I go into canvas settings, I can change the background to use dots or change the background to have crosses here in the background of my canvas, which is very cool. But if you have 100 ETLs, it seems pretty, what's the word? I don't want to say annoying. What's the word? Cumbersome? Time intensive to go and turn these all on by default. Um, Kudos to Elliot and where is the other user? Bryce. Bryce came up with a solution using Code Engine that I thought was pretty cool. And thanks for sharing that. And I thought to myself, I wonder if I could write a Python function or use DomoLibrary to get this job done. So if you haven't guessed by now, I do a ton of scripting in Jupyter Notebooks using Python, mostly because I have over 100 instances of Domo that we have to configure, and I can't be bothered to click into each data flow by hand. That's just not an option. So let's take a look at how we can do this in a Jupyter workspace. So first thing we need to do is we need to generate a Domo auth object that can generate my header token. Cover that in a million and one video, so I'm not going to talk through that anymore. But at the end of the day, the output of generate Domo auth is an auth object that will allow me to authenticate my API requests. One of the nice things about Code Engine is Code Engine actually handles this for you, kind of under the covers. But I like the idea of being able to know who's passing authentication and being able to authenticate against different Domo instances relatively easily. Cool. Um, the next thing I need to do is get a list of all of my data flows. Um, and so here in DomoLibrary, we have a class, a module called Domo Data Flow, and I can get all of my data flows. Now, I don't want to mess up with everybody's stuff, so I thought I would just filter the data flows for myself. So um, data flows have a property called owner, and I'm saying if the owner is equal to the user ID that I pass into my filter function, then those are the data flows that I want to return. As I run this, it takes a hot second to run because it's looping over every data flow in Domo community, and I think we have over 400 of them. But here's the first example of one. It's a data flow called Beast Modes Governance 01 Accumulate History. That's the owner. It's got a description on it that I generated using AI in one of my other tutorial videos. And then here we can see some actions associated with this data flow. Okay, that's neither here nor there. Let's keep going. So once I have a data flow, I want to process it. And by process it, I want to set the background variant. Now the background variant can be any of these text values, none, dot, lines, or cross. So I created an enum. An enum, I guess, stands for enumerate. So I can enumerate a set list of values that my canvas background can be. So it can literally be, when I send it to the API, the text none, dot, lines, or cross. So that's what the enum is for. What are we doing in this function? In this function, I am retrieving the definition of my data flow. So basically, like, what is that API response? And then I'm going to navigate to the GUI node canvas's default canvas settings, and then I'm going to update the value to cursor grid is equal to true and set the background variant equal to whatever value we passed in. Just to see this at work here, let me just pass an early return here. And so as I run my function, this is the result that you would get in the API if you went here and you pressed save. Oh, Love this responsive UI. Love it, love it, love it. Save. Yep, save. Good. If I push the save button, I can see we send a put request to the data flows 125, which is the data flow ID, and then the response is that data flow definition. And here we can see here's GUI, canvases, default, canvas setting. Cursor grid needs to be true. Background variant, in our case, currently is cross. So I guess we can just find out the answer. What happens if I set the background variant? So we'll say process data flow. Let's remove that early return. And we'll pass the background variant of lines. So what it would do is it says, hey, I've received background variant, update the data flow definition, and then we'll call the method update data flow definition. Hope it works. So theoretically, I just set this to lines. If I come here into my data flow and refresh the screen, refresh the browser, hopefully we're going to see some lines. We see crosses. Am I at the right data flow? Nope, I should be at 131. We have lines. I know they look like squares, whatever. Lines is what they described it as. And if I change it to cross, is it cross singular or cross plural? Cross singular. Okay. So I run this again, refresh my browser. Very cool. I can set it to whatever I want it to be. All right. So that's how I process one data flow. Change the data flow definition, update the definition, or send that put request through. And again, with all of the code that I write, I can always pass debug API is equal to true if you want to see the actual API request that was sent. Okay, cool. So that's it. Last thing to do is to update all of my data flows. So because I manage over 100 instances of Domo, I can't do this one at a time. So I wrote a function that says, hey, receive an auth object. And then for that auth object, we're going to get the data flows that belong to a user ID. In the real world, I would probably do this for all data flows. I probably wouldn't filter it, but I don't want to mess with anybody else's data flows. So I'll say, get me a list of data flows. And then for each data flow in data flows, process the background with the dot variant. And we're off to the races. And hopefully in a second I should be able to refresh my screen here, and this should be dots. A few more seconds, maybe? Dots. Okay. You might notice here that I have a pretty gnarly try except block. So I'm saying try except because there is the off chance that my data flow doesn't have these nested dictionaries, right? It might not be Magic 2.0. It might still be Magic 0 or Magic 1. It might be a MySQL data flow. It might be an Adrenaline data flow. So if I don't have all of these settings or all of these nested dictionaries, then we can't do anything, and I'm not going to pass I'm not going to run this update data flow because this stage would fail. Probably what I should do is add a type field to my data flow so I can say the type of data flow is Magic 1, the type of the data flow is Adrenaline, but we're not there yet. Yeah, hope you guys find this useful. Catch you guys later. Bye.